Yo, what up? It's Benjamin D'Souza here, back with another classic. And I want to kind of piggyback on a few points that I made in a couple of past videos that I just made, speaking about legacy and effectiveness and efficiency. And as far as the legacy is concerned and passing down a legacy to your children, not only do you do that through tangible resources, i.e. money, property, and investments, but you also do that through genetics. And Kirigakure Jones made an excellent presentation speaking about epigenetics. So I kind of want to go from there. Now, how I look at it is, when you go through life in your day-to-day, you're always downloading information onto your genetics. And when you, let's say, inseminate a woman, you're going to upload that information into her, pardon the pun, upload or whatever. And then it's going to mix in with her genetics and her experiences, which forms your child. Now, that's why you can have a child. That's why it'll be a child, right, who never met a particular parent of theirs, whether it's a mother or father or whatnot, right? But this child makes voice inflections like that absentee parent, makes mannerisms, facial expressions, all that, even though they never met him. That's because that particular parent downloaded that into their genetics and then uploaded it to the child, right? So the key is to download as much productive and positive information into your genetics as possible. Now, but we're human. We're gonna engage in various forms of fuckery throughout life, and we're gonna download fuckery into our genetics, if you will, which we're gonna inherently upload to our children. It's kind of like alchemy, really. It's like the greatest form of alchemy. It's really evolution, if you will. Choosing a competent, well-rounded woman is a big key into that. You know what I mean? Stargates matter. Quality stargates matter. Shout out to Kirigakure Jones and MBD. But I give you for instance, my father, right? He ran collegiate cross country for a major D1 school back in the Midwest region, right? The way he came about running cross country is back in the old country down in Guyana. My grandmother would drop my father off at school. My father didn't like going to school at the time. He'd rather, go to a movie theater and watch movies all day, right? Because he loved movies. So what my father would do is, once my grandmother dropped him off, he'd walk in the front door to school, walk out the back. But the movie theater was like 2 or 3 miles away. And he couldn't just walk there, because if he didn't make it there in time, he wouldn't get the matinee price, and he wouldn't be able to pay like $1 to watch movies all day. So he would have to run nonstop for like 2 or 3 miles from the school to the movie theater, right? And then when school let out, well, before school let out, he would have to run straight back to the school, whatever. He was downloading positive and constructive information into his genetics, that being, the ability to run long distances and whatnot. But at the same time, he was also downloading the propensity to skip school as well. And it's funny because I didn't hear about this story until like the 1999 when my grandmother passed away. My grandmother passed away in July of 1999, and we had what's called a West Indian wake. Now back in the old country, at a West Indian wake, the body would be in the house, you know. But here in the States, you gotta have the body at a funeral home to have a wake at the funeral home. But West Indian wake, they had a body at the house. Yeah, everybody cooks, you know, cook the favorite meals and whatnot. You sit around, drink rum, eat curry, and reminisce. You know what I mean? So I didn't hear about this story until my grandmother passed. And when they were telling this story, I kind of looked over at my dad and kind of smirked and squinted my eyes at him because because this is like going into my freshman year of high school or whatever. And around that same time, I skipped school a lot too. You know what I mean? So he was downloading good and bad information onto his genetics, and he inherently uploaded bad information as well as good information into his genetics, which I carry to this day. You know, as far as the cross country is concerned, I'm 210 pounds, but I'll be on the road for like a month, maybe 2 months, and you know I do calisthenics and some dumbbell work while I'm out here on the road. But when I go home, man, I hit the track. And I can run 4, 5, 6 miles straight. You know what I mean? So I do have a propensity to run long distances. You know, that's in my genetics thanks to my father. But you know, I've picked up some bad genetic traits from both of my parents. You know. But the key is, like I said before, is to download as much positive and constructive information onto your genetics, because this is like the greatest form of alchemy as far as legacy is concerned. You want to, and not only just physical, also mental, you know what I mean? Temperamental, emotional, all of that ties in. All that you are is what you're gonna pass down to your child. So make sure that you're well-rounded and sharp in all aspects, and that you've downloaded as much constructive and positive information as you can before you upload it and create a child. You know what I mean? That's why, in my opinion, some of these children within the black community that were born to young parents, that's why they're kind of deficient in a lot of areas, because their parents didn't have enough time and enough experience to download enough positive and constructive information onto their genetics to upload to them. And then when you have a few generations of that, when the grandmother's like 39, 40, and the daughter's like, or the son is like 20, and the child is like 5, and the grandchild's like 5, you got a couple generations of that. It's gonna be, how you say, juvenile. The child's gonna have juvenile genetic information. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, this is the greatest form of alchemy, man. Yeah, that's all I got.